Hey, what's up, friends and family of Watermark OC Church? I'm here with a little morning devotion for you, a word of encouragement for this strange and challenging time that we are still find ourselves in. And today I want to talk about the word invitation. Invitation. See, at the hands of a man named Pete Scazzero, I learned this idea, this principle, this philosophy, this in fact lens for seeing the world. It's not just a word, it's not just a big idea, it's not just a principle. It actually has the power to become an entire lens that you use, a filter by which you see the world and all of its circumstances, its highs and lows. Every single event of your life can be seen through this lens of invitation. Now, if I say the word invitation, it assumes someone doing the inviting and someone receiving the invitation. And of course, in this context, a biblical worldview, we believe that God is the great master inviter. Every single thing in life is an invitation from God, high and low and everything in between. And I've really learned this idea as I've taken time to be more still and silent from technology and from my phone. I've taken a fast of technology. Personally, I felt led to do that because my life was so hurried and so rushed and so frenetic and stressed that I needed to do something dramatic. I moved away from a smartphone into a basic phone. And as I started to do that, the very first few weeks, I started to be able to see and hear things altogether differently. My view of the world started to change. And I started to see and feel the truth of that statement that everything is an invitation from God. No parking spaces, great, invitation to walk. Conflict with my neighbor, invitation to pray. Sitting in traffic, invitation to listen. Injury or illness, invitation for gratitude for the times that I'm well. Promotion or raise, invitation to praise and thank God and be filled with gratitude. You know, the other day I was experienced for the first time in my life standing outside the grocery store waiting in line. Of course, in light of this pandemic, they're starting to implement these social distancing rules at various grocery stores, marketplace shops. And I was standing out there, and it was a small trip. It was not a big, large shopping list that day, so I just needed a few staples. And so for that fact, I didn't have to be in a rush. And I got in the line, and after the first few minutes of just disbelief that I could have to be this inconvenienced, how ridiculous, just incredulous, just awe that I would have to wait in line to get into a grocery store, I started to settle in and realize, wow, this is an invitation too. What does God want me to see, do, think, hear? And so I made conversation with a worker from the grocery store, made light conversation and joking conversation with him. And then that moment, that primed me for going into the store where I would see someone who seemed so troubled and lost and alone. He was just pacing the aisles, not even shopping. And I was able to stop him and say, "Hey man, are you okay?" And he said, hey, and he tried to shake my hand. I could tell he was disoriented because no one's shaking hands right now. And he said, "My name's David." I said, "Hey, I'm Benjamin. Nice to meet you. You all right? Are you sure you're okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm good." And nothing really came of it. That was kind of the end of the conversation, but I wouldn't have even had eyes to see him, let alone the senses to slow down and talk to him and introduce myself to him if it weren't for that invitation of being stopped outside the door to the market. See, everything is an invitation. So in this season, I just encourage you to look for those opportunities. What is God doing in this moment, this historical moment? He's creating a great need in people's hearts. Even in their worry and concern and fear and panic, you may cross their path and you may have an opportunity, an invitation to meet them, to greet them, to give them joy and peace from the peace you have in Christ. And you may even get to pray for them. You may get to invite them to come and watch the service online or be a part of community online. You never know, but all of these things in this time, I assure you, are an invitation. So be listening, be waiting on the Lord, be still. We cannot control. If there's anything we've learned in this scenario, in this season, it's that we totally lack control. Embrace that as an invitation to trust God and see what He has for you. He'll turn your invitations into opportunities.